Okay. After braving the fire and bringing child and babe, that should be mother and babe, to the maester in Stokeworth for care, Malcolm Waters of House Stokeworth of Green Tower enjoyed a bath courtesy of his host. The soot and smoke was washed away, but his lungs still burned like dragon fire, and he presented a terrible cough. His audience not immediate, and Malcolm not one to rest on his laurels, he took to the streets to settle some unfinished business. Ser Patric bid him adieu for the time being, going to the jousting fields to scout out the competition. With thanks for the bath, the hedge knight took his leave. And so you walk back to the streets of Stokeworth, and it's mid-morning by this time, almost probably time to eat for lunch. You've already broken your fast. You were given some cheeses and grapes, and so you're well fed. And if you want to take care of any loose ends, now is the time to do so.
Okay. So I guess first off, out of character, mechanically, what is involved in healing an injury?
Someone with healing has to roll to do so. And depending on the severity of the injury or wound, it could take multiple times. It gets different. It's more difficult with your activity level. So the more you do stuff, the harder it is for them to heal. If you're like laying in bed, it's easier for them to fix that. There's a section in in combat somewhere which actually speaks to that. And so after you're ready to have the maester look at it, he probably would. You get the feeling, but.
Well, then I suppose before I do a bunch of other stuff, the thing to do would be go see the maester and drink whatever potion or whatever his recommended treatment is.
So you head back into where you think the maester's I guess office would be, and you can tell he's pretty busy with the child and the
Still
woman.
working on. Okay.
Yeah, he turns to you and he goes like, "Yes, what is it? I'm kind of got my hands full here," and he's got like an assistant helping him, but he looks you over.
Malcolm just kind of waves him off and says he'll return sometime later.
Okay, he like waves you away and turns back to what he's doing and closes the door this time.
Okay, so then out into town. I definitely want to go. Well, I guess was the guardsman. Is he getting off duty, or was he just starting his day?
You'd have to go check.
All right. Well, go to the gate and look for him.
Okay. So you head back towards the gate, and the traffic is picked up significantly for the tournament from when you came in just before dawn. The gate is open, unlike it was this morning, and you do notice him standing around talking to a couple other guardsmen. He's not holding his halberd currently, and if you had to guess, you would say he's probably, off duty soon, or if not already.
Okay. Well, Malcolm will approach him.
Okay. So he kind of catches you out of the corner of his eye, and he turns and he's like, "You." He's like, "I heard that they were really sick from the flames and the smoke." And he just nods and he's like, "That's good. I'm glad we didn't have to cross blades."
Malcolm extends a hand to him. Says, I spoke harshly this morning in my haste to seek treatment for the woman and child. We'd been riding all night. I meant no offense. You were merely doing your job.
So the guardsman shrugs and reaches out and shakes your hand. He doesn't seem too enthusiastic about it, particularly. He's like, "I'm just doing my job. I've had a lot worse said to me than that. But usually when they do that, they find them on the end of my pole." And he nods to the halberd leaning up against the guardhouse.
Malcolm smiles, nods, as it should be. And are you off duty? Can I buy you a pint?
He nods and he's like, I could go for a pint. He's like, I have a good watering hole not too far away. I'll if you want to buy me a drink, I'm certainly happy to drink it and take it from you.
All right. Well, Malcolm will accompany him to his preferred drinking establishment.
So you walk just down the street and around the corner, and there's a smallish building that. Hold on one second. Sorry, that was a barrel roll. And it's a small building, and he ducks under a smallish door, and you see the sign there, which most signs are in Westeros are pictures, and it's just got a big mug of ale. And so, it's clearly some sort of drinking establishment. And when you get inside, you realize it's very small, however. There's a small horseshoe bar and about 6 stools and then 1 bench on the opposite side of the room. There's no windows. It's really dark, even in the middle of the day. Basically, all the light comes through the slats, in between the slats of wood, for the inn, so it's and then the doorway too, which is left open. And he motions to the bar, and there's a couple people there. One guy has his forehead down on the bar, and he's completely passed out, and they're just drinking. And he's like, "This is it."
Good bar full of Irish cops. Malcolm looks around, smiles and nods, proceeds to the bar.
Okay, so you sit down at the bar, and he waves to the bartender, who's a skinny, older fellow with a large mustache, and he's like, "2 of the house," and the guy just nods, and there's 2 mugs already sitting there, already pre-poured, and he just hands them to you and slides them across the bar to you. And you can feel the ceramic mug, and it's like warm, obviously. So
Malcolm takes a drink of the ale or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's awful. It's probably one of the worst you've ever had. It's overly warm, which they drink warm beer in this time, but it's like super. It's like been out in the sun type of warm, and you see something floating in the top of it, and the guard captain goes, "I guess I could have taken you to a better place where I could have got my money's worth," and he just laughs and starts drinking the piss beer.
Yeah, Malcolm chuckles, shrugs, joins him.
Okay. So after some small talk and a couple minutes later, you've finished off your pints, and you feel kind of heady because it might have been bad, but it seems to be like higher alcohol content. And he's just like laughing, but he seems decent enough fellow, as far as you can tell from just the few minutes you've been talking.
Now, the heady sensation isn't anything abnormal.
No, just you would this is how you would feel if you had a few beers in you. You just notice that it's rather strong for just having one. No, you're not poisoned or anything.
Okay. Yeah, well, we can finish our drinks.
Okay.
Malcolm thanks him for the company. Makes his excuses. Has other business he has to see to, but maybe he'll see the fellow around.
Okay. He nods and he's like, come by the guard tower tonight if you want to chat, and he just shrugs and he's like, hopefully won't see any more fires. He's like, I would like to talk to you about that fire, actually. I know that my commander will be asking a patrol to go out there and check it out, so maybe if you have time later we could speak about that.
Malcolm says sure. In fact, if you think it's important, you want to talk about it now, we can.
He shrugs. He's like, I'm on drinking duty, not working duty.
Well, carry on, good man.
He nods and he waves at you as you depart, and you walk into the streets of Stokeworth again.
All right. Malcolm, well, I guess first we need to see if I have any money.
Yeah, you should have some, so go ahead and roll your status, and we'll take that down.
All right. Status.
Okay, so you have 7 gold.
All right, and let's see.
Which is quite a bit of silver. I don't have the conversion, but I think it's like 200 and some silver.
200 is what I think I remember.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Well, then, what Malcolm is looking to do is spread some of that silver around. Among some of the small folk. He wants to get the tale of the rescue of the mother and child to start circulating among the tournament goers.
Okay. So I think that's an interesting thing. So let's do are you telling the truth, or are you embellishing it? What are you doing here?
Well, I figure if I start it by telling the truth, it will embellish itself.
Okay.
As it goes.
What should we roll? We're gonna roll some sort of persuasion. How about? Let's do persuasion charm. That makes sense. And you get you can roll an extra bonus die. You can't actually roll extra bonus die because you have 3. So let's. I'll give you +2 to your roll.
Fair enough.
And that's for the coin that you spend, and we'll say you spent 10 silver on this. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So you tell people, and they seem all kind of very interested in it, and some of them claim to even have seen some of the people come in. You don't know if that's true or not. They could just be, blowing smoke up your butt, but a lot of people seem very receptive to it. You don't know how receptive at this point, but it seems well received. And you tell probably a dozen people the story and pass around the silver in different ways. But you seem to have made your mark in your story.
Okay, well, in the telling, and some of them saying they've seen people come in that were there, victims or whatnot. See if I can get a lead on where Smoke Eater has gone.
Yeah, from the various accounts from the people and from the guard captain who briefly talked about it, and the maester who did actually see all those people several hours ago. You are in the you assume that they're just outside the jousting fields, where there's been camps made, tents and such, and they're probably staying outside the city, near the jousting fields, the tourney fields.
Okay. And just for the record, Malcolm is not in any way diminishing Patrick's part in the rescue story.
Okay.
He wants Patrick to get
Understood.
notoriety as well.
Okay. That's good.
Okay, well, head in the direction of the tourney then.
Okay. So you head back out the gate, and the tourney is kind of alongside one of the outer walls of the city, and you see just 100 tents probably, and you can see that they're constructing the field and the basically, I don't know what you call it, but the runway and the divider and the benches and everything. So yeah, you walk out there, and so now you have a mass of people to wade through trying to find them out here.
All right, well, make sure that the purse with my coin is down the neck of my armor or something where it won't get pickpocketed.
Okay. So you walk out there, and there's just a lot of people starting to roll in, lots of carts, a lot of vendors, that sort of thing. At first you're like, I don't know how I'm going to find him out here, right? But you can try to search for him in the group. You could probably recognize any one of them, generally.
Okay. Okay, they're building stuff. Is there something that I can, climb up on, get ahead over the crowd without angering any workmen too severely?
Yeah, you head over toward like where the benches are, and you kind of climb up a few steps to get a better view. Why don't you do an awareness notice?
All right. Awareness.
So you look over the field, and you recognize what you think is the cart more than the people, and you notice the cart is flanked by two mules, and so there are other carts out there, but most of them have oxen or horses, but there was definitely two mules. So it's towards the back of the tents, where it would make sense that somebody who's just come today would be. That's what you see out there that is promising.
All right, well, I'll try and follow that lead then.
Okay. So you head through the tents, and you see all sorts of shenanigans. You see, people drinking, people having sex in tents, people, just gambling, that sort of thing. And just, it's obviously this is not like the nobility of the tourney grounds. It's just, it's like a flop house. It's like Burning Man if it was in Stokeworth. So you head through there, and you come to the wagon, and you see not Smoke Eater, but you see another man that was a part of the group, and he is essentially, what it looks like he's doing is butchering meat in the back of the wagon.
Okay. Well, we'll go talk to him.
Okay. So you come upon him, and he's like, "Oh, it's you." He's like, "Malcolm." He's like, "How are you? How are you?" He's like, "I don't know if I ever told you my name. I'm, what is his name? I'm John." And he goes to reach out, but he's got like a bloody hand. He's like, "Oh," and he just like starts wiping it off, and then extends the hand again.
Malcolm shakes his hand.
Okay.
Well met, John. How fare you?
He's like, I'm not bad. The maester gave me a elixir to drink, and I feel pretty good. Feel pretty good. We all do. We all do. He's like, I've heard that Annabelle and her daughter are doing well.
Ah, good news. I hadn't heard of their condition since I got them to the Maester. I'm glad to hear it.
He's like, yeah, she's our good friend, and yes, so we're happy she's okay.
As am I. Have you seen the fellow we nicknamed Smoke Eater? The one
So. Yeah, he just starts kind of laughing, and he's just nods his head. He's like, Smoke Eater, I like that name. I like that name. And he's like, he's over there in the tent. He's like, I think he's probably sleeping, but I'll go wake him up. And he walks over and pulls the tent flap back and turns in, and he's like, Bryant. And the guy is Smoke Eater looks out, and his hair is like all like disheveled, and he kind of crawls out, and he's probably in his 40s, I think is what I said, and he has like this wild red and blonde hair with streaks of gray, and he kind of crawls up to his knees and stands up and walks towards you, and he's like, oh, and he like pushes his hair down. He's like, Malcolm. He's like, how are you?
I'm good. How fare you, Bryant?
Bryant nods, and he's like, I am tired. And he laughs. He's like, I just went to sleep probably a couple hours ago. And he looks around, and he's like, I smell meat. We're underway already. And he nods to John.
Malcolm claps him on the shoulder and says, sorry, I've disturbed your repose.
He's like, oh, no apologies from you. You're a hero. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you.
It was nothing. So, what is it that you do when you're not here, Bryant?
Well, we're butchers.
Butchers?
Yeah, we butcher meat. We dry it. So a lot of people like our dried meats. Venison, pork.
Very good.
It's like, yeah, we were here to sell our wares, but we lost most of our stock in the fire. But we bought a few shanks of venison and are trying to make some money off of it here in the tents.
I see. Okay, so out of character for a minute. I'm not familiar enough with Westerosi custom. Is it reasonable to ask him who his lord is, or if he has a lord? Or...
Yeah, you can ask him where he's from, and that'll derive, who his lord is, and he'll tell you if you don't know.
Okay, so... from whence hail you, Bryant?
We're from near Robsey, which is, if you don't know, it's a bit north of here, and you know that Robsey is northeast of Green Tower. It's Stokeworth and Robsey are the big two lands in the Crown Lands, other than King's Landing. So.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like, we travel quite a bit though. He's like, I have a small home I rent, but he shrugs. He's like, a few of us are from here, from there, some from King's Landing, some from Stokeworth. He just shrugs.
I see. Malcolm kind of grins. Well, if this tourney goes well, I'll definitely come find you again, Smoke Eater.
He smiles and he's like, okay, well, you can have as much free meat as you want. And he laughs.
That's funny. I was just going to overpay him for a piece.
No, he will not accept any money from you, but he brings out like a little satchel of jerky and gives it to you. So,
Malcolm.
On the house.
Malcolm thanks him. a, a great deal. Munches on some jerky as he wanders on.
Head back.
Yeah.
And it's you think it's pretty good, but anything tastes good right now because you're a little buzzed and gets that foul taste out of your mouth.
Yeah, get rid of that beer taste.
Yeah.
Or that not beer taste.
Yeah. All right. So you head back to Stokeworth. So you head back in through the gate and inside. And you remember why you're here.
Yep. Do I think it's been enough time that the Maester is probably through?
You don't know about the Maester. You don't know what his, what it entails, what he's doing, so you don't have a good sense of that. But it's been several hours, so just a walk back and forth and the drinks and talking to John and Bryant. And so, I mean, you can go see. You need to be in the castle anyway, right? To talk to them. Okay. So you're heading back in there?
Yep.
Okay. So you head back to the castle, and you're given entry freely. And so, are you there, Rob? That was weird. That was weird.
That was weird.
Yeah, I just saw all the icons go blank. But anyway, so I just rebooted, or not rebooted, but refreshed the page. Anyway, so you head back into the castle, and you're given free entry, as the guards know who you are now. And so, are you going to head back towards the Maester's room?
Now you're getting the crazy mic thing.
You're doing what?
Now you're getting crazy. Maybe it's me. Let me try and...
Yeah, your mic is a little odd.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Okay. How do I sound?
No, now you're fine.
Okay, you are too. Okay. All right. So start over. So you go back into the castle. They permit you entrance. They know who you are now. So are you going to head to the Maester's office or?
Yeah, I'll pass by there anyway.
You pass by, and the door is open now, and you see who you assume is Annabelle sitting up nursing her baby. in a chair in the corner.
Okay, well, Malcolm would definitely stick his head in then and inquire as to her well-being and the baby's.
So she looks up and she's like, "It's you." And the baby kind of pops off her boob and it's exposed, and she kind of like comes over to you and like reaches over, like with one hand has the baby and hugs you with the other one, and she's like, "Thank you, sir. Thank you. I am forever in your debt. I'll do anything that you possibly. I'll wash your feet. I'll do anything." She's just like basically groveling all over you because you've saved her child.
Malcolm sort of graciously, shrugs her off a little bit. And, not necessary, my lady. Not necessary. Or I guess he would call her lady, but not necessary, madam. Not necessary.
She's like, you are the epitome of nobility in this land, and I forever swear myself to you, as much as my humble skills could be ever useful. I just can't ever repay you.
Malcolm again tells her that he doesn't think he did anything. He and Patrick did anything that any honorable man of the land shouldn't have done.
She seems pretty surprised and just like shakes her head, and she's like, I cannot express my gratitude enough. And she does sit back down though, because you can tell she's weak and weary and tired, and starts nursing the baby again. She's like, "Please, sir, don't leave town without seeing me again. I'll be with my cousin Bryant and our other friends out in the jousting fields when I'm able."
Malcolm chuckles and says, I shall look up you in Smoke Eater again.
And she smiles and nods, and she's like, please do.
And by the way, have you seen the Maester?
The Maester, he left here not too long ago. I assume he'll be back soon.
Yeah, well, probably shouldn't keep relations waiting.
She nods, and she's like, good day, sir.
Malcolm smiles and nods back. Good day, madam.
Okay.
And 1 second, let me let this dog out.
Sure.
All right, now in about 5 minutes, he's going to realize it's dark out there. I'm going to come back here. Anyway.
Okay. So the inside, there's basically there's plenty of servants walking around. You could inquire about the Maester or your cousin Felice if you so desire.
Well, if I think I have time without being offensive to the other Stokeworths, then I'll see if I can locate the Maester real quick.
So you ask a few people here and there, and you eventually get his assistant, who you had seen earlier, comes up to you, and he's like, yes. He's like, how can I help you?
Malcolm tells him that he's still got a cough from pulling the people out of the fire. I was wondering if the Maester had anything that might alleviate that.
Oh, he like kind of rolls his eyes. He's like, more of that. I'm glad he made more. He's like, follow me, and he takes you back to the Maester's office and simply grabs this small vial and hands it to you. And he's like, drink this before bed tonight, and you should wake up marginally improved, and in the next few days you'll feel a lot better.
Malcolm thanks him. I don't know if you tip Maester's assistants, but
no, he's just like, just go. I'm busy.
Malcolm chuckles and scurries off.
Okay. So, as you're leaving, You see a fairly average-looking woman with dark hair and pouty lips, kind of staring at you with her hands on her hips. And you know who it is, even though you haven't seen her for probably 10 years since you were teenagers. And it's Felice Stokeworth, and she's the eldest daughter of, oh God, what's her name? Lady Stokeworth and Lord Stokeworth. And next to her is a handsome young man, tall. Hello? You there, Rob? I can't hear you. Yeah, is my ping bad or something? Alright, yeah, I've got like a... Okay.
Okay, that seems to have worked. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I went
Okay.
all the way up. Okay. So, what was the last thing you heard me say?
Let's see. You just described Felice.
Okay. Standing next to her is a young, blonde-haired man. He's taller than you. He looks like a warrior of some sort. He has a long sword on his hip. He's not wearing armor currently, but he's standing there with his hands across his chest, watching as she gives you kind of like a half smile and waves over, and she's like very, very, you can tell it's very insincere. She's like, "Oh, cousin, how are you?"
Okay, well, warmly, Malcolm greets her. Ah, cousin, wonderful to see you. I fare well. Had a bit of an adventure on my way here last night.
She's like, "Oh, did you? I'm sure it was such an adventure, so important." And being very, very, very passive aggressive. Um, and she's like, "So, I guess you're here to talk to me about ladies to suit, are you?" And she kind of smiles. And she's like, "Let's get down to it then. I've got a busy day. Bauman here, my husband. This is Bauman Birch. He's destined to win the tournament. Guaranteed. He's quite the tilter."
Ah, ah, well met, Bauman. Malcolm reaches a hand out to him.
Bauman shakes your hand and he nods. He's like, "Well met, well met." He's like, "She's right. I hope you're not tilting. I would hate to knock you from your horse."
I don't think I'll be in the joust this time.
He's like, "Wise, wise. I think that's very wise." And so Felice smiles and she's like, "So, your parents sent you here to find a bride, eh? A noble bride." She seems to think that might be silly.
Malcolm just continues to smile and sort of water off a duck's back.
Taking it, okay. So, so this is going to require an intrigue.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what her objective is because I think it's only fair. Her objective is to convince you of one suitor over another. And what's your objective from her? What information do you want to get from her?
I suppose I want to find out who the real prize of the ladies' fair.
Shit.
Hey, all right, one reload did it that time.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on. Hold on one second.
It's got to be some kind of Roll20 weirdness.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so yeah, so you want to know? I'm gonna have to edit this thing like crazy, or maybe I won't. I don't know. So you just want to figure out who is the best match for you, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So Felice says, "Well, you don't have to worry because I already have the perfect person selected. So let's roll status." That's initiative and intrigues.
All right. Oh.
What is your status? 2?
Yeah.
9's not a bad roll, but she has status 5, so. Okay. So she's going to go first. So how would you think how do you feel about her? Do you like her? Do you not like her? Do you...
Well, not real crazy about the attitude she's presenting.
So would you say you're probably unfriendly or... So yeah. Basically it goes affectionate, friendly, amiable, indifferent, dislike, unfriendly, malicious. So
certainly not malicious. But,
dislike is like the first step of negative, so...
1 second, gonna grab the
Sure, you're fine. God, I don't know if it's his.
I guess maybe unfriendly, but trying to not let her see that.
So unfriendly is almost as low as you can go. There's dislike and unfriendly. Dislike is the one that's just...
Okay. Dislike is probably...
okay, let's go dislike. Okay. All right, so she... let me look at this again. 1 second. So she says, I already have the perfect person for you. Her name is Mina Birch, and she's actually Bauman's sister. She's comely, she's young, she's nubile, she comes from a very good family. It would be perfect for you. So I'm going to roll. Now, I'm going to actually roll this. Yeah, 1 second. So, I just need to move some screens around here. Wow. So that was... So I would say that's a convince. So actually I'm going to take... Yeah, so... Okay, what's your intrigue defense?
A 9.
9. So she rolled a 9, so that's... Okay. So... so it's times 3. So she rolled a 19 versus your 9. That gives her 10, right? So that's 3 degrees of success.
Okay.
This is by her will, and her will is only 2, thankfully for you. So that's 6 minus 5, so you take 1 composure damage. So keep that in mind. What is your composure? 9 or something like that?
9, okay. Yeah.
So you have 8 left. So now it's your turn to convince her.
Okay, well, Malcolm pours on the charm, tells her that he's sure that Bauman's sister is a lovely maiden, but, certainly there must be more fish in the sea. He'd hate to not consider any other possibilities.
Go ahead and roll your charm.
All right. Persuasion charm.
11. So that's 1 degree of success. And then, so you're doing persuasion charm. And that is... What is your... Oh, your influence is your persuasion rank. So your persuasion rank is 3, right?
Right.
So 3, that's not going to get it done. So she just, shakes her head, and she's like, there are others, but there is none more fit. I tell you now that Bauman's sister is the perfect fit. You're a bastard from a minor house. His house is high and lofty. It couldn't be a better match for you if you decided to ask for Mina's hand. So 13 versus 9,
Yep.
right? So that's 1 degree of success, so it didn't get through. So, oh, you know what? Take that back. It actually did, because it's actually this. Well, it still didn't. But she's like, don't you believe me? I have your best interest at heart. So I did no damage to you. No. So give me a good persuasive argument, and I'll give you some bonuses.
Well, of course I believe you, cousin. But it would be foolish to choose a bride without at least considering another possibility.
Okay, go ahead and roll charm, and I'll give you a +1 on that one.
Okay. Is there some way to do that on the sheet, or do we just add it after the fact?
Yeah, you can just add it after the fact. So 12. She just kind of shakes her head, and she's like getting kind of frustrated. She sighs, and she's like, look. She's like, I have the perfect person for you. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't know of anybody else unless you want me to tell you that there's whores here that you could marry, which seems just fit for you. And so she's changing her outlook because she's like getting irritated. And that would be a what? She's actually, I would say that's like trying to incite you, right? I would say so. Okay. So, so it does still doesn't really do anything to you. You just kind of, you're used to her banter and her bad attitude, and it doesn't like affect you in any way. Remember, you can use your destiny points if you want to.
Okay. And what does that buy in an intrigue?
You'll get 1 bonus die. Yeah, so you would roll. You can you would roll like 7 and keep 3.
Keep 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the only way you can usually do that, or it can go the opposite way if you're like take a wound. But yeah. It's up to you. You only have 1, right?
Yeah.
So it's gotta.
Yeah, because this is definitely going the wrong direction. So I guess we'll try that. And Malcolm puts up his hands very disarmingly. Cousin. I meant not to fluster you. Just surely in a tournament as large and grand as the one your family has presented here, there probably another. But I certainly meant not to upset you.
I like that angle. Give yourself +2 to the roll. Using your vanity.
And I guess I can just add the bonus die right here.
Yeah, you can just tick it up if you want. Yeah, that's about the only way, unless you want to do it manually. Which you can
just do this. I think this.
16. So that's 2 degrees of success. On charm, that's 6.
Well, 16 plus 2.
Oh, that's right, 18. So that is 18 versus 10. That's still only 2 degrees of success. But she gets frustrated, and she's just like shakes her head, and she's like, for the last time, I mean, I don't see why you're not listening to me. She's a girl of 14. Isn't that every man's dream? So, and that obviously does not impress you because you're obviously not into that young of girls, perhaps. So, You may retort.
Okay, I don't get the impression that she really thinks that this girl is the best choice, right?
Unless she can convince you, but right now she hasn't.
Okay.
Since this is going very slowly because you both have, you basically both have the same, you both have dislike, so you both have a armor of 5, and so you're having trouble beating the armor is what the problem is. So the next person to score anything is going to win, just to let you know. Because you're both at sitting at 1 minus 1 composure, so. Well, 1 of whatever your max is, so. So this could take forever, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I don't know what else to try.
Give her one more charm attempt and see what happens.
Malcolm.
You can have the bonus from last turn too, +2. So.
Okay, well, we'll just cut to the chase then.
14. 14 is 1 degree of success.
16 with the bonus.
Oh, 16. So 16 is 2 degrees of success, and that'll injure her. So she finally throws up her hand. She's like, fine. I try to give you the best match possible and still available, perhaps. I don't know why she would take such someone as lowborn as you, but you should also look at Talia Hilwood. She's a lady of House Hilwood, and she's a widow. And she laughs. She's like, maybe you can do better with a 45-year-old woman.
Malcolm chuckles and says, yeah, perhaps better with a 45-year-old woman with but a girl.
Bauman rolls his eyes as he stands there, and he's like, so low-born. I can't even believe you have relations this low-born. And he's just like being a pretty big prick.
Malcolm just grins at him.
You're good at taking it, I tell you. So,
yeah, a bastard from a minor house. I've probably taken it for years.
Yeah. And so Felice is like, well, you can go now and find your old lady. And they both just kind of laugh.
Okay, well, Malcolm will politely take his leave.
And so, can you roll awareness empathy?
Well, I can roll awareness. I don't have...
Yeah, then that's fine. Yeah. If I just say that and you don't have it, just roll. Whatever. So that's good enough. So you get the feeling that Felice was trying to trick you into something. It wasn't that she was like necessarily trying to keep you from something, but she was trying to do something untoward. It's pretty clear. So you don't know what she had and what she was up to, but you're glad that you kept pressing her and got away from Mina. Okay. So now,
I'm already close enough relations with Bauman.
Yeah. Cousin-in-law. Okay. So Felice kind of flips her hair, and they turn around and depart down the hallway, leaving you alone.
Okay. What sort of time of day is it now?
It's probably it's early afternoon, just after lunchtime. Blah.
the hell, man?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know. The one time I saw it, like, it came up and showed you as having a bad ping. I don't know if that was it, or I don't know if it's me, or...
I don't know. Nothing else seems to be having any issues on my end except Roll20.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I'm not really using anything else.
Well, I'm not either, but when Roll20 drops me, I'll, click on a web page or something real quick and see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right, so... Okay. Where were we? Yes, they leave. It's about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, something like that.
Okay. Ideally, Malcolm would go cure his cough and so forth before he goes to court the lady.
You don't want to hack into her mouth or anything.
Yeah.
You can do that if you want.
Let's
you just have to find lodging, which might actually be a little difficult.
If it comes to it, I'll go camp with Bryant and company.
They would definitely probably give you a... So is that what you want to do?
I'll go see if there's room at the inn first before I go.
Yeah, there's no free rooms in Stokeworth at this point with the tournament in town. Everybody with any kind of money has already booked them up.
And so I take it the relations don't have any warm reception for the...
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get much a room in the keep. You're lucky enough to get access, seems like, from the attitude they're giving you.
Well, then I'll go visit my new friend John,
Bryant and John.
Bryant, yeah.
Yep. So you head back out there. They happily, give you a place to sleep.
On the way there, Malcolm gets a little cask of ale and some bread and cheese.
Did you get it from the same place you drank earlier?
No. No, someplace near the keep.
Okay, someplace that's decent. All right, good. So, all right, so you bring back some booze and some food, and they're all very appreciative. They share what they have. They're in the middle of working. They're butchering. Annabelle's still not there with her baby. She's probably still in the keep recovering. They're more than willing to have you, and for the rest of the day, you guys drink and be merry, and while they're cutting up some meat and drying it and whatnot.
Ever mindful to keep an eye out for Patrick.
Yeah, you don't see him. He could be anywhere. You really don't know him that well. He did say he would meet you after he was done, but it could be days. He's also preparing for the tourney, so he could be practicing riding, stuff like that. So,
yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so the day grows long, and you finally are drunk enough and tired enough from, your early day. You barely slept, if at all, and so do you take the potion or the vial or whatever it is?
Yep.
All right. So this will go against the Maester's healing. So the Maester has 4 healing. And so it's 4k4 on this guy. And then he needs to be... This is actually on page 166. So you can see how this works. Injuries, it has a chart. It has activity levels, and then examples, and then difficulty. So basically your activity has been strenuous, right? You haven't rested, you haven't done anything, you fought, you rode, you jumped in the burning house, so I'm going to give you completely strenuous, right? So this roll has to beat a 4. There's nothing, you really have anything to do. You can roll it if you want, just to make it fun. Just go ahead and roll 4 d6, keep 4, and see if you beat a 12. And if you do, you'll lose that wound or injury. And so you drink this foul ass shit, and it tastes like mucus. It's so thick as it goes down, and you can tell it coating your throat and everything as it goes in into your system. And then you fall asleep from your ale, and you wake up the next day, and your throat is sore, but you realize your cough is much improved. You cough a few times in the morning, spit up some gunk, but you do feel better. So now your injury is gone, so you can take your injury away.
All right.
It'll take you, like, roleplay-wise, a couple of days for it to be completely great, but as far as mechanically, it's all good.
All right. Yeah, well, that was the concern before we go.
Yep. I understand. All right, so you wake up, and John has a plate of food waiting for you, and you notice that Annabelle's actually there in the morning, and they're playing with the baby, and she seems in very good spirits, and she gives you a big hug and a pretty big wet kiss on the lips. Her breath doesn't smell too good, but yeah, everybody's really excited that you're there. They're like, you should just stay all day with us, and we can, hang out and drink and eat, that sort of thing.
Malcolm tells him he wishes he could. Oh wow, I'm getting big echo.
It's through the hermit. Now say something.
Test?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I muted him. Okay.
Malcolm tells him he wishes he could, but that he has pressing business elsewhere that he must see to.
Okay. They're sad to see you go, but they understand. They just tell you to make sure that you stop by from time to time while you're in Stokeworth. They're going to be here for the duration of the tournament, so.
Well, Malcolm chuckles and tells him he may be back here to camp again tonight.
They say you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome.
And of course, leave what's left of the bread and cheese.
Yeah, there's nothing left. You guys ate it all.
Okay.
Scarfed it down. So, all right, how are you going to find Talia Hilwood, if that's where you're next?
That is indeed where I'm bound.
There is, so one thing I'll tell you, this day, today is the day where the first tilts are going to happen. They're mostly for squires today, so this is a big enough tournament to have just events for squires. So there's actually a tilt for squires. So there are people in the jousting stands actually getting ready to actually watch at this point. So there's a lot of nobility there, but not all of them are there because it's just the squires, right? It's not the knights or anything. So that's a possibility where it could be. She could be in town, perhaps. If you want to do this mechanically, you can roll probably a knowledge streetwise to you're like asking around, that sort of thing. If you don't have that, then just knowledge.
Yeah, well, actually, I do have streetwise.
Good. Let's use it.
Knowledge streetwise. And I didn't know. Wow, a lot of lag.
So you don't know where she is. You don't know where she is. You could. Let's see. How would you go about finding her? Now that you can't. You ask people, they either don't know who she is or they don't know where she is.
Well, I assume I could, if I didn't know, that I could find out what the arms of House Hilwood are. And
That would be. I'm just gonna keep going like nothing even happened.
Yeah, that's fine.
That would be just knowledge education. So you can roll knowledge if you have education. Great. If not, just roll knowledge.
All right, 1 second. Got to recover the character sheet.
Yeah, no problem. Roll 20 would not get us down. We will have fun. We will find you a bride tonight. So you do find out what the sigil of House Hilwood is, and I'm going to let you make that up right now.
Well, use that one I came up with earlier. I thought it was pretty neat.
Well, that was like Green Tower, right? That was perfect for Green Tower.
Oh no, shit! I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
You didn't? I thought you did that on purpose.
No.
Oh yeah, that's Green Tower. That's what I thought it was. I was like, that's amazing for Green Tower.
You're absolutely right. That's perfect for Green Tower.
Yeah.
That didn't even cross my mind.
Because it was a green field and a tower.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's perfect.
I was letting you do it so you can make the heraldry later, right? Whatever you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Or you can abstract it, whatever you want to do.
No, I want to spend some time and make up something cool. So okay, then I guess back out to the lists and start scouting around for a banner with their blazon.
Okay, you do actually spot something, and you're kind of surprised that you remember you know what this. Okay, so since you know this, I'm going to give you a little background on House Hilwood too. So House Hilwood is a house in the Crown Lands that is actually part of the Kingswood, and there is a large hill and a part of the Kingswood that is House Hilwood. There's a couple towers actually that it's a part of. It's not a big house. It's actually quite small. But they have some influence because they own a tract of land of the Kingswood inside, and they directly report to basically the king, and so they report directly to like King Robert as a banner house of his, or whoever the king is at a time, and they're basically in charge of lumber production and things like that. So they're actually fairly wealthy. That's really all you know. You don't know anything about their politics or anything like that. You just know they're situated in that area. So, yeah, you do see a banner with their sigil on it, and they have it looks like they have a part of they're in the part of the tent area with a huge pavilion. And, other scattered tents around there, which are some of the minor houses are out here in the field, actually. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll make ourselves as presentable as possible.
Okay.
Mosey on in the direction of the pavilion.
So you're heading over by yourself? Not taking one of your carnies?
I wonder. So again, out of character, do I think that would, that having a quote retainer along would?
Why don't you roll cunning?
All right.
Cunning. Was it cunning memory and cunning? What's the other cunning?
Oh, well, cunning is going to have to do it.
Yeah, cunning's fine. So you think that possibly that it might be a good idea, although they are, small folks certainly, they also are basically think the world of you. And so having somebody just hyping you couldn't be a bad thing no matter who they were, right?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Unless this lady's like Felice or someone like that. But you get the feeling that if she was, that Felice would not have begrudgingly told you about her. It would be one of the first people she mentioned. There's a reason that she didn't, tell you right off about Talia.
Okay. All right. Well, I suppose if my good man Bryant isn't too otherwise occupied.
Oh, Bryant agrees. He was like, I'd love to go, and like they all like volunteer to go. Annabelle, she wants to go. John wants to go. Bryant wants to go. The other 3 or 4 want to go. It's yeah, they are all very very eager to. They're like we will. They're like we'll lift you up on our shoulders and bring you there as a conquering hero, if that's what you want.
That might be overkill. Okay, so again, sort of out of character. I mean, do I really think that having the entire retinue of small folk, that again sort of seems like it might be.
That might be overkill, but
yeah,
it's up to you. But going from your cunning, you think maybe the heartstrings. I mean, Annabelle and her baby seems like a good way to go.
Okay, well, we'll play that card.
Okay, so you want to take like Annabelle, her baby, and Bryant or something like that?
Yeah, I think having at least one, sort of, I mean, he's not a man-at-arms, but
yeah, a man.
Yeah, retainery sort of character.
Yeah. Okay. So you head over there?
Yep.
So you head over there, and you're getting closer, and as you get towards the pavilion, 2 men-at-arms with the Hilwood jerkins step out, and they're like, "Who goes there? This is private residence for the time being."
Let's see. Can't introduce myself as a Stokeworth.
Or can you?
Well, how does that work?
You could say you're Malcolm Waters of House Stokeworth of Green Tower. That's the truth. You're not a Stokeworth, but I mean, you do represent that house. We haven't gone into details of how that is, but it seems that you and your father are on good terms, at least.
Okay, well, I introduced myself and tell him that I wish to pay respects to the Lady Hilwood.
So he seems a little confused. He's like, "You're from House Stokeworth of Green Tower." He doesn't know that necessarily, but he's like, "Why are you here to see Lady Talia?" He doesn't really understand why you're here.
Malcolm again tells him to pay his respects to the lady.
Okay, he's like, "All right, stay here for a moment," and the other guy goes inside the pavilion, and it takes a few minutes, and then after a while, someone comes out. So who comes out is a tall woman wearing a cloak and basically a dress. And the cloak is of some sort of, you get the impression it's some sort of like hide. What you're interesting is she's obviously disfigured. One of her left eye is milky white, and she has a scar that runs from her forehead to her cheek over that eye. She looks like she's maybe older than early 40s, but she is actually perfectly attractive other than her eye. She's got wisps of gray hair with looks like mixed in with auburn perhaps, and she looks at you with kind of a suspicious gaze, and she's like, "What can I do for you, Malcolm?"
Malcolm smiles, sort of tilts his head and looks at her. Says, "Felice, did you know justice, my lady? And
she laughs. She's like, Felice. Yeah, you're like, I'm getting a ping error on you right now because you're cutting in and out too. We'll see how long this goes. But she's like, Felice Stokeworth. She laughs. She's like, I would guess not. She's a catty little bitch.
Malcolm chuckles and says, "Indeed."
And she's like, I heard you were a part of the cadet branch of House Stokeworth of Green Tower, eh? I know your father.
Ah, you do.
She smiles and she's like, yes, I do. She's like, are you here on his behalf?
Well, at his behest, my lady, but on my own behalf.
And she's like, I sense there's a story involved. Let him through. And the guards let you pass. And you walk back towards the pavilion. It's a large pavilion. Inside there's like benches and, you know, stools and places to sit. It's modest, but well lit, and there's food and anything you could want. There's no one else in there besides you two.
Okay. So again, sort of lack of Westerosi custom here. I don't know what the procedure is
for like courtship, that type of thing.
Well, sort of.
Typically, it would be either her parents making the match, right? But obviously, she's the head of the house, so she gets to just decide, right? So you're going to have to broach the topic somehow. So you figure out how to do that, and then we'll go from there. There's nothing faux pas unless you do something outrageously, ridiculous. But because the standard customs of that doesn't exist in this, because she is the head of the house. Otherwise, it would be like it's arranged, right? But
okay, and as a bastard second son, does marriage to Malcolm, does that bring alliance with House Stokeworth, I guess?
Yeah, it would. I think it definitely would. Well, not to House. Well, indirectly to House Stokeworth. Yes,
well,
it
to
could.
Stokeworth of Green Tower.
Yes, it definitely would.
Well,
you would become a Hilwood if you were married, and you would any children sired would go through her line. They'd become Hillwoods, not Waters or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it would do an alliance through that. Yeah. But you don't really know any of her situations, so you might, just a hint, you might want to try to kind of feel that out first. You just know that you know her house, where it is, and the general politics behind it. But how this woman, is in her 40s and needing a husband and got her injuries, you do not know.
Okay. Well, we'll start with some small talk.
Okay. Yeah, she's still kind of on edge about why you're here, and she's just like, if you're not here for your father, I don't really understand why you are here. She's like, you're nice enough, but I just don't. Eventually I want to go out and watch the tilts. You can just ask her, you can try to kind of, I don't know. How are you going to broach any kind of subject to get in there? That's the question. I'm not asking you to like seduce her or anything like that. I'm just trying to.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to broach the subject of her situation of.
I would use Felice in some way as a hint. I mean, just tell her the truth, maybe. Right? Felice is being you know she doesn't like Felice, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. What the hell? Let's put the cards on the table. Malcolm explains to her that his father sent him to Stokeworth to the tournament to find a wife, to find marriage, and that for whatever reason, Felice didn't like the idea of him talking to Lady Hilwood. And that of course made him quite interested in talking to Lady Hilwood.
She kind of smirks and she's like, "Now that is interesting." And she asks, she cocks her head and she's like, "Who did she suggest, if I might ask?"
Malcolm was fine with telling her. I don't remember.
Mina.
Was it Mina?
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh yes, Mina Birch." And she's like, "She is a quite beautiful young girl, but she doesn't like the company of men and thinks it's funny when courtiers come to her and they have a tendency to be embarrassed."
That is in no way surprising.
And she laughs and she's like, "So you're looking for a wife. I guess you didn't expect to see someone as old and used as I am."
Malcolm smiles and says, "Well, Felice mentioned that you were older than I, but you're a very beautiful lady."
Yeah, go ahead and roll your persuasion charm.
All right.
Okay, so 13. So she smiles and kind of like looks away, and you can tell she's kind of like embarrassed by it. She obviously doesn't hear that sort of thing, and she's like, "I don't know that I even want a husband. I have one husband dead, 2 sons dead, and it's more than I can take."
If I may ask, my lady, what trouble has set your house?
She laughs. She's like, "What trouble has not set my house?" She goes to tell that her husband and her 3 children all died in Robert's rebellion. Her husband and her eldest son fought for actually Robert, and her 2 youngest sons fought for Aerys Targaryen. And so her house was split, and she doesn't get into the details, but all of them died in one way or another. And then she kind of touches her face, and she's like, "And that wasn't even," she's like, "and that is not even my personal story." And she doesn't really say what happened, but you get the feeling that it's not necessarily tied to Robert's Rebellion, or if it is, it's loosely so. But she's obviously been injured in some way, but she doesn't really elaborate. But she seems very solemn about it, as you could expect.
Well, Malcolm lays his hand on hers and goes, "I'm truly sorry for your sorrows, lady."
And she kind of pauses and then kind of pulls her hand away, and she's like, "I tell you what." She's like, "I don't know what this could lead to, but if you really want to help me, I have one thing that needs to be dealt with. If you would be willing to be my champion in this matter."
Malcolm solemnly agrees.
She looks downcast and she says, "My house is all I have left, and my people who I love and respect and want to do best for, but there's a distant relative of my husband's who is making a claim on the lordship of Hilwood. It is a rife prize for some people because of the lumber, and I need a way through the law to defeat him. She kind of looks and she's like, by right, he might have a case since I am a woman, and I am married to Lord Hilwood. But the magistrate seems not interested in hearing the case directly. So perhaps if you could champion me in a duel, you might be able to secure House Hilwood's future, and I would be indebted to you greatly.
Malcolm takes a knee, tells her it would be his honor.
Okay. So she puts her hand on top of your head and she's like, okay, so let's try to go arrange this and see if we can trick the usurper into this duel. She looks at him, she's like, are you capable? I don't want to get you killed or injured for no reason.
Malcolm feels he's fairly handy with the blade. I assume she's not going to go talk to Gregor Clegane.
You have to fight Gregor. The Cersei comes out and Gregor just walks. No, so okay, so you agree, and her and a few of her men lead you back towards Stokeworth, and so go back to that.
I
Yep.
send Annabelle and the babe away, but
oh yeah, I totally forgot them. Sorry, they were just outside waiting. Basically, he didn't let them in, but yeah, my bad. When she comes out, Annabelle and them tell the story, and she's even more impressed. And so, yeah. Okay. So you head back into Stokeworth, and she leads you with a contingent of men, and like people like give you leeway when you're coming through. And she heads to this big circular building, and she walks up to this fat man behind a desk, and she's like, I've decided it's time to settle this with steel. And he like rolls his eyes and kind of like throws up his hands and like pushes papers away, and he's like, I've been working on these legal documents all morning. And he's like, I didn't come from the capital for nothing. She's just like, it's time. And he's like, well, let me go talk to him. And he gets up and goes into another room, actually, and this guy walks out, and he looks very displeased. He's young, he's about your age, maybe a little older, he's got a goatee, and he's like, you challenged me with steel? What fool would do that? And he looks over Talia's shoulder at her men. He's like, any of these fools will impale themselves on my blade without even me trying. Are you there? Or did I just do all that to myself?
Testing?
Yep.
Hey, cool.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, okay. I
Okay.
heard you fine.
Okay.
And then we had some sort of hiccup. You couldn't hear me, but now we seem to be.
Okay. I was just wondering if I said all that without you.
No. I'll try and let you know when I lose you.
Okay.
So Malcolm sort of pushes his way to the fore. Says he's Malcolm Waters. He's here to defend the lady's honor.
So the guy rolls his eyes and he's like, you've brought a bastard? And he just like kind of chuckles and he's like, fine. And the magistrate's just like, oh. He's like, there's a yard in the back. If you kill each other, someone needs to take the corpse away. It's up to you to decide to the death or to the first blood. I don't care. He's like, I want this out of my hair. And Talia steps forward and she's like, to the death. So she decides for you. And the guy's like, very well, to the death. So if you have any qualms with that, now is the time to speak up.
I suppose we go ahead.
Okay. All right, so you guys march back out this door, or out the back door, and walk into this pretty much just like a dirt patch, like a circle. And there's no real, it's like fenced in, but nothing particularly exciting about it. He starts getting his gear on, and he basically puts on a, let's see what kind of armor he has. He puts on his armor, whatever armor it is, because I can't find it. It's scale armor. So it's like basically scale metal. It's a little loud. And he has his, pulls a long sword out, and he's like, I don't know why you took up with this old hag, but you're gonna pay for it.
Malcolm tells him, you shall eat those words, sir.
He smiles and he's like, very well. And so we're gonna roll initiative. So go ahead and roll your agility quickness. And since there's just 2 of you, I won't do a turn tracker. So you rolled an 18 and he rolled 9 with armor. You're definitely going to go first. So let me put your token out here. Udon. So I'll let you decide. Do you want to start? Whoa, you're huge.
I stomp on him.
You are going to kill him. Okay. So I'll let you decide. Do you want to start right next to him, or do you want to start a ways from him? It's up to you.
We'll start next to him. That way I can use acrobatic defense and attack.
Yeah, you can move him. You should have control of your token.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
Actually, I guess it's more aesthetically pleasing if we're
looking over your shoulders.
Well, yeah, kind of angle on each other.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so he pulls out his sword, and does this guy have a shield? No. So he doesn't have a shield. So he doesn't have a shield either, so he grabs his sword with 2 hands and lowers his stance, and as in any proper duel, he's ready as you guys commence. So what are you going to do?
Well, Malcolm has his sword and his left-hand dagger.
Yep.
And acrobatic defense.
Yep, so that gives you plus 2, right?
Correct.
Alright, so just keep me honest of what your combat defense is with your, because I don't know if your left-hand dagger adds to your combat defense on your sheet too. So
it's
I don't think it can, because I don't think there's anything in the weapons that would.
Right, it does not on the Roll20 sheet. No.
Yeah, so you just so what's your combat defense before the acrobatic defense?
Before acrobatic defense, it's a 10.
And that's with your left-hand dagger?
That's correct.
Okay, so you'll have 12.
Right.
Okay, so just so we both know. Okay, so you're doing acrobatic defense, and then you're going to attack, is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so roll it up.
And sword. Now I'm not sure I have the longsword set up right on the sheet.
So what's your so in your weapons, right?
Right.
You have longsword, and you have what bonus die do you have in long blades?
2.
So you would have test of 2.
Okay, then it's right.
Okay, and then you have fighting down below that.
Athletics. So
No,
it should be fighting.
Yeah, it should be fighting.
Okay. I think they were the same score, so it probably didn't matter.
Oh,
but
okay.
Anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so now we should be good.
Yep, just click that roll and...
Let me fix fighting in the dagger real quick. Okay.
Yep. So 17 versus whatever it is, and that's 2 degrees of success. What's your damage?
4.
So your damage is 4, so that's 8. And then his armor will subtract 6. So it takes 2. So basically you swing and he kind of parries it a little bit, but the tip of your blade cuts across his leg and he like grimaces and then takes like a measured couple seconds and then comes with an overhead chop, essentially.
Okay.
So I want to see one thing though before. Oh, why did I don't know. I stabbed this guy. That was stupid. That's fine. Okay, so he comes with an overhead chop. What is his? So boom, boom. So 16. And your combat defense is 12.
Right.
And so he does damage of 4. And what's your armor?
It is ring with a rating of 4.
So basically he gets past your defenses as you quickly kind of spin away, but it just cuts into your armor and does no damage. And
Okay.
he curses. He's like, "Stay still."
All right, and okay, so I don't remember. Did we re-initiative?
No. Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Well, same game. Acrobatic defense and attack.
Okay. So once again, you are. So describe your attack. You hit him lightly, but
Malcolm feints with the left-hand dagger when whatever his name is there goes for it. Sneaks the sword in, gets him along the jawline with the tip of the blade.
okay. So his name's Norbert, by the way. But his jaw starts bleeding, and he looks a little concerned, and he's like, "Fine. I just wanted to let you off easy, but now I am truly going to kill you dead." And what's he gonna do? 1 second. So basically, he comes his sword back and forth, and he feints and swings upward at the bottom of your hands. He's trying to disarm you. So basically, he is going to do a standard attack. So what's your passive? What's your fighting?
Fighting is a 4.
Okay, so he's got to beat a 16. That's going to be difficult. And then you have long blades of 2, right?
Yep.
So he's got to be a 16. Oh man, he's okay. Well, I already said I'm going to do it. Nope. So he comes underneath your hands, and just at the last minute, you move them out of the way to avoid being disarmed. But you can tell that this guy is actually not a unskilled fighter, because he was very close to catching your pommel and knocking the blade out of your hand. So that was a greater action, so you can go now. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using some of these more advanced maneuvers. Right. So you're up.
Aggressive. Well, continue with it. Seems to be working for us. Well, acrobatic defense and attack.
You keep rolling the same damn thing. So you hit him for the same amount. So he's starting to get a lot of damage from small wounds. Go ahead. Describe it.
Okay, this time Malcolm beats past his blade, goes for a lunge. The guy moves aside at the last minute, but takes a cut to the midsection.
So he staggers back, and he's bloody from the leg, the side, and the face. And he's truly surprised. And then he just grabs his sword with 2 hands and recklessly charges at you. So this is reckless attack, throwing caution to the wind. You hurl yourself at your opponent. Stripped 5 from your combat defense to gain 1 test dice to your fighting results. So basically he is going to roll. So he's going to do this. He's going to do... bear with me. Right? Ah! Oh my god.
Wow. I bet you can't do that again.
I bet you can't. So, holy shit. That was the worst roll I've ever seen. So, he essentially, like, rears back as hard as he can and just swings and just, like, trips and falls to a knee and just, like, ridiculously misses. And he's like, oh no! And his back is basically turned to you, and what do you do? That was impressive. That was impressive. That's hilarious, actually.
Malcolm doesn't really want to kill this guy. He quickly glances at...
To let you know, you don't have to. So if you defeat a person, you can determine the situation they're in after you defeat them. So if you go through all their wounds, all their whatever, you can determine if they're dead or just defeated. So even if you hit them and bring them below 0, that's a rule of the game.
Okay. Well, in that case, we'll let him have it.
Okay. So are you going to do acrobatic defense, or are you just going to aim and attack?
Let's aim and attack.
So roll an extra bonus dice. Remember, he's negative shitballs. Negative... why would that blow up? Negative 5 combat defense. Yep.
Right.
Yep, he's totally screwed.
Okay, so add a
bonus
test on the sword. Yep. Okay, that should get us there.
Ouch. 20 versus, holy shit. 20 versus 4. That's 4 degrees of success. What's your damage for? 16 minus 6, 10. So he takes a wound. So give him something good. Don't kill him, but give him something very bad.
I was going to say hamstring him, but that doesn't really seem...
That would work, yeah. I think that's good.
Okay. That works for me.
So you come in the back of his Achilles tendon, just cut it, and he's like screams out as he kind of tries to step up from his kneeling position and hobbles. And he's like, House Hilwood must be mine. And he attacks again, but he keeps 1 less die because he has a wound. But he hits you for 20 this time. So you have 10, right? Because you didn't do acrobatic defense.
Right.
So 10, that's 3 degrees of success. That's 4. So that's 12 minus... What's your armor rating?
4, I think. 1 second, let me find it again.
So that gets you to 8.
Where the hell is it? Weapons. Oh, armor. Yep, rating 4.
Okay, so let's get you 8. What's your health?
Health is a 9.
So he comes back and hits you with just a wicked stroke, like from bottom to top across the chest, and like you like stagger back. Now you can either do one. You can do one of three things. You can take the damage. You'd still have one left. You can take an injury, which means you'll take whatever. So 8 minus whatever your endurance is. So you get a -1. Or you can take a wound, you get no damage, but you get -1 die kept until it's healed. It's up to you what you want to do. But if you do nothing, you have one left.
And then if I take that one, what mechanically happens?
Nothing. You just have one left. So then if he hits you for another 12 or something, or hits you for another, let's say hits you for another 8, you couldn't take an injury because you would still be below 0, so you'd have to take a wound at that point. You see what I'm saying? Because if you take a wound, you take nothing, right? You take no damage, but you get the -1 die. If you take an injury, you get -1, but it has to be in such a way that you can do it without still going over 0. So if you took an injury now, you would say, what's your endurance?
Endurance is a 3.
So if you took an injury now, you would take 5. And so then you would have 4 left. So you got to think, if you took could you take another injury? And the answer is actually no, right? If he hits you for the same. But if he hits you for less, maybe. I don't know. It's up to you. It's kind of like a weight, but like if you take a wound, then you're keeping one less die every attack.
Right. No, I definitely don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to do that unless you have to. So my suggestion is do nothing or take an injury. It's up to you.
Let's try the. We'll take an injury.
Okay, so you take an injury, so you'll have -1 to all your die rolls, and so he hits you for 8, so you take 5 instead of 8. So you'll have 3 left, right? No, you have 4 left. And then it will be your turn, and he's still -5 because he's just reckless attacking at this point. And that was with even him keeping one less die.
Okay. Well, we better go back to the acrobatic defense and attack.
Okay. $20 again. So yeah, another wound. So what are you doing to him? It's another bad one.
This time the tip of Malcolm's blade gets into one of his wrists, cuts up the underside of his forearm.
Okay, so he basically, it's his right hand, and he's just like basically has to switch over to his left hand, and he's staggering around, and he's like, I can't lose, I can't, and he just attacks you, and with his left hand he swings, and you're able to just move just in time to parry it with your left hand dagger out of the way. It grazes your arm, but doesn't even pass your gauntlet, and he's basically wobbling in front of you.
All right. Malcolm continues his agile defense and again lashes out with his longsword.
So this time you put him down. You can either kill him, knock him unconscious, or injure him enough where he's unconscious. It's up to you, but you've defeated him. Describe what happens. It's up to you. The decision is yours.
Well, I really didn't want to kill him, but he he really got on my nerves with the.
He hit you.
Well, it wasn't so much that as the House Hilwood must be mine. I guess narratively there wouldn't be a chance for Malcolm to glance at the lady and.
Oh yeah, he's basically staggering. You could.
Malcolm glances at Talia, just the are you sure you really want him dead look.
Talia gives
it the thumbs down.
So it's up to you. She tells you.
Yeah, well, if she gave it the thumbs down, then let's kill him.
All right, so how do you do it? How do you put this guy out of his misery?
Malcolm knocks his blade away and opens up his defense, just runs him through.
So you just like smack his sword away and then just step through and just go right up through the gut, and he just like kind of screams out and like grabs your wrist and then just kind of folds over the blade as blood just spurts out his mouth, and he kind of like slides off your sword and onto the ground into a bloody heap. And you see Talia like lower her head and just kind of nod a few times.
Malcolm wipes his blade clean on the guy's cloak, disengages.
So the magistrate hobbles over and he's like, look at this mess. He's like, fine. He just takes the papers and then crumples them up and throws them on the dead body. And he's like, get this corpse out of here. And Talia's men like go and grab him by the ankles and the feet. And they're like, feed for the pig, one of them says. And they just take him out of the dusty arena. So how do you react to killing a man in a fair fight?
Malcolm's a little sad that it had to come to that, but is what it is. Not gonna lose any sleep over it.
So Talia comes into she walks past the fence and grabs you by the hand, and she's like, let's go watch the joust together.
Malcolm takes her arms, my lady.
All right, and so you walk through the streets of Stokeworth back out to the fields and watch the squires joust for the day. And that's it.
All right.